Today on the podcast, we are honoring the moms in our lives, yourself, and talking about 6 realizations, 6 things I learned about myself that I could not have gotten from anywhere but motherhood.
Being a mom.
Being a mom changes everything.
Yeah, and Dad's Mother's Day is this Sunday.
Yes.
Mother's Day is this Sunday.
Got a few days left.
Yeah, and if you want to know a quick tip on what to buy, listen to after the intro.
Welcome to I Get It, a podcast for the modern woman who doesn't want to live mediocre. We're balancing babies on our hips, typing out that important email, and flipping pancakes at the same time. Not to mention, keeping things steamy with our husbands right before we put our face mask on for the night. It's not easy, and you are not alone. I'm your host, Tara Wages, and I get it. Welcome to the I Get It podcast. It's Mother's Day week. This next Sunday is Mother's Day.
Yeah, I've already taken care of it. I already bought you something.
It's a big deal.
Because you made a Pinterest board. And honestly, I will say, I was using the bathroom this morning and I was like, rather than get on Instagram, I'm just going to go ahead and tackle this. We're actually recording this, 8 days before Mother's Day. So I took care of it. But you had multiple things. So I don't know if I should get you multiple things or if it's just one thing.
No, that's what's still a surprise. So I still don't know what you've gotten, but it's definitely something that I want.
Okay, well, this was something you put on the Pinterest board like 6 years ago.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
jeez. Okay, yes.
Anyways, if you are a husband if you're a wife or a mom, if you're a mom for Mother's Day, it'd be really helpful for the dads to just make a Pinterest board. But also, I think a handwritten card would go well with that Pinterest board. How's that?
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's like you get what you want, but then the handwritten card is like kind of like hey, I did this without you telling me what to write.
Yeah, the handwritten card is a non-negotiable. But if you are a husband that has not yet bought for your wife, or wives, if you need a new idea, I am offering my Mother's Day portrait sessions again this year. They were a massive, massive hit last year, and everyone was begging me, please do it again, please do it again. So I'm listening to the people.
We should throw some photos up on the YouTube page if you want to see some of these.
Yeah. And I'm offering them because of social distancing. Right now, you can get a studio credit and go to tierwages.com/book. Use the code I Get It. I had a mom last year. She did an entire gallery wall just off of the pictures that I did for her last year. So get on that. It will only be available for the month of May.
It's funny. I see so many people like on Instagram and stuff. They post pictures around their house and their walls are just completely blank. And I'm like, did they just move in? You know what I mean? That's cool if you just moved in. But if you're like a year or two in and you haven't put anything on your walls, you know what I mean? It's time to do like a photo session or something like that just to get something on the walls.
Putting things on the wall does make it more homey.
Yeah.
That's true.
And these photos have such good clarity that you could literally just make the whole wall of the photo if you wanted to.
I think so. And it's white backdrop, so it's clean and crisp. Yeah, that's a great idea for the Mother's Day. And today we are going to honor motherhood. I'm going to honor you mamas listening by talking about 6 truths that like motherhood has shown me. 6 things that I really would not have seen in myself if I had not become a mom. And I want to start by saying that if you are a mom in waiting, search your heart right now. And I don't want to put you in a difficult situation. If you're wanting to listen, if you're not a mom, just for inspiration, you're excited to be a mom, then I think this is a great podcast for you. But if right now motherhood is very sensitive to you, come back with us next week. We would love to have you. I just want to be sensitive to that. I thought that it would be fun to talk about kind of life before motherhood for me quickly and our process of becoming parents. We knew when we got married, we wanted to wait 5 years before we become parents. I'll say however you do it is great. I mean, I've known people, they got pregnant on their honeymoon and that was
purposefully.
I know like one couple that they were like, yeah, whenever it happens,
Let's
that's
celebrate
great.
marriage with the.
Yeah, and it also depends on how your age. We were babies when we got married. I was 21, so we knew that the 5-year plan was right for us.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, we traveled, we saw the world, we built a business. We had a lot of big goals that we wanted to do, and I can remember around like the 2.5 year mark, I was getting the itch. I was like, oh, I may want a baby. Because let's be honest, fresh babies are literally the cutest things that live. And Wes stood strong in that moment. He was like, no, we're sticking to the plan. Let's do this. And so we were getting around to year 5 and starting to talk like, okay, when are we going to formally, like officially go off the birth control? Because
I think is when my hair started like kind of leaving that you were like, we need to have kids first.
That's not true. Because honestly, we were having so much fun at that point that there were discussions of like, let's just keep waiting. Let's put it off because we are enjoying life so much right now that we don't want it to stop. I mean, we were like at the peak of the world, it felt like. And but again, we are very goal oriented, plan oriented, and so we stuck to the plan. And we were actually in Rome traveling, and we went into Zara, which is one of my favorite stores. And of course, I like search the baby section, and there's the cutest rompers. Oh my god, I still have them. Like, I'm obsessed with Zara baby. And Wes looked at me and said, Tira, I will let you buy 3 or 5 things, if you will go off of your birth control today. Because of course I was like begging to buy clothes. And he was like, we're not buying anything. We're not pregnant. He was like, if you go off of birth control, you can buy stuff. And truthfully, in that moment, I should have negotiated and done like 10 items. Like I should have like stocked up. Because I probably could have gotten anything I wanted at that point. But I agreed. I went off of birth control. I bought the outfit. I actually Instagrammed the outfit. Like I can remember posting the picture. We went to a cafe after. And we were pregnant within a week. We didn't know that we were pregnant within a week, but we were. And it happened way sooner than we expected. And I actually pulled that outfit out recently and showed Olive, and she thought it was the ugliest thing that she'd ever seen. She absolutely hated it because it was gender neutral. We didn't know if we were going to have a boy or a girl, obviously.
Yeah.
And so that is how we became parents. That's how it started for us.
It was all through a bit.
It was all through, well, that was through, bargaining, really. And so I carried Olive. We decided to not know if we were the gender of our babies. We didn't know the gender of any of them except for our number 2. And
which threw everybody for a loop.
Yes. Oh, everybody hated that we didn't find out the sex.
Yeah.
Drove them insane, but we absolutely love it. I highly recommend not knowing if it's a boy or a girl.
So here's the number one question you're always going to get asked if you decide not to know the gender. How do you decorate for the nursery? How do you buy clothes?
Yeah, I will say, so we did a rainbow theme for her nursery because it can go either way.
Photo right here.
It was featured in apartment therapy. Like, I'm still so proud of that. And there's so much you can do with it. And what was great is we were able to use all of her things, her high chair, her car seat, many of her like sleep clothes, the things that like didn't matter in that way. We were able to use for every single kid. There are clothes that I'm putting on number 4 right now that Olive wore. And we saved a ton of money, didn't have waste. It was just a great experience. I highly recommend it. And so we realized that we're in labor, and go to the hospital. We knew that we wanted to have a natural birth, and that experience, that first experience, baby number 1, it changed after this. It was the most beautiful experience. And I will say, like, there were moments that I was crying, and I'm like, I know why women get epidurals. Sure. It makes sense. And
I almost thought about getting one myself because you weren't.
But we that day played music and we danced and we cried and just connected on a level that just like that moment being the start of my motherhood journey is something that I will cherish truly for the rest of my life. And what were you about to say?
So obviously that was the first time, my wife had a child, first time I'd ever been in a hospital room or anything like that. You pushed back any preconceived notions of childbirth and pregnancy I'd ever had because of the media, because of movies and all this kind of stuff. It's not something that you look forward to. It's like chaos, it's painful, all this kind of things, which there's some of that in everything, but like that was completely not it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, it was a very calming experience. The lights were dim the entire time. It was just Wes, our doula, and a photographer, which I highly recommend. It was a very calming experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was beautiful. And again, I know that things go wrong in labor all the time. We were just very fortunate that was not the case for us. Yeah, and in that moment that she came out, and our doctor, who we love, we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. He looks and he's like, "It's an Olive baby," because we knew if it was a girl, it'd be Olive. And it changed everything. Mm-hmm. That moment changes a woman in a way that literally nothing else on earth ever can or ever will. And I know a lot of people compare like, "Oh, this business is my baby." And I say things like that. This book is my baby. This dog is my baby. And I understand the level of love for those types of things. I've built a business. We've had a dog that I like cherish with my whole heart. Mm-hmm. There is nothing on this earth that compares to that moment that a woman becomes a mom and that child is then placed on her. And I will truly never forget it. And I mean, we traveled. I've seen Paris, like nothing compares to that. And so there are 6 things that I've just really realized that without that moment, I would have never seen in myself. I would have never seen in other women around me. And I just really wanted to share those today. And the first of that is like, I am way stronger than I have ever given myself credit for, than I have ever thought that I would be or could be. Like, I cannot do a pull-up. I've never looked at myself as someone who is strong.
Actually, guys, bring out the pull-up bar right now. Let's try it out.
God. Like, that is one of my goals. The gym that I'm working that I work out at, they have this thing and it helps me to do a pull-up. And one of my goals is like,
it a pull-up bar?
But it's this band that I wrap around my knees that helps me get up.
Gotcha. Yep.
But I'm wanting to work towards that. But I don't see myself as a strong person.
Right.
And I was having a conversation. I heard Olive say to the brothers one day, or she was like in conversation, that girls weren't as strong as boys, or that mama wasn't as strong as papa. And I was like, hold up. Everybody stop right now. Stay still. That is not true. And she looked at me and I said, women are the strongest people on earth. Like, did your papa carry a baby? Absolutely not. I said, women produce other human beings. Like, that is a strength that is unparalleled. And not only do we
strength is a spectrum. That's what we're saying right now. I mean, because obviously the guy that could like hold the most amount of weight in the world can lift more than a girl, right?
Oh yeah, he can lift more than a girl for sure. But can he push that weight out of his body?
No, but I how do we tell a kid that like, well, women are stronger than men? But I mean, obviously, I think she knows that a man could lift the car.
But my point is I don't want her to automatically think that men are stronger than women because they can lift that weight. Yeah. Because lifting that weight, just because he can lift 450 pounds, doesn't determine that he is stronger than a woman standing next to him who has birthed 1, 3, 4 babies. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want her to associate the word strong. And I think that's the problem is young girls, we associate the word strong and strength with that physical weight. And strength and becoming a mom and that realization, strength is a mindset. Strength is an endurance. Strength is something that comes from within us that pushes forward. And that is something I never saw myself as, that now that I have done those things, dang, like I am so much stronger than I thought than I ever knew that I could be.
Yeah, I do like the fact of her knowing that strength is within.
Yeah.
Strength is not just muscles and like lifting.
For sure. And men aren't automatically stronger than women because of that.
Yeah.
And the second thing that I realized along the same lines is that my body is incredible. Like, in doing my research for all of, I decided to have a natural birth. And again, however you birth your babies, I think that does not
just
undermine anyway. Yes. Get your baby out safe and healthy. But, and just even researching it, knowing that when we nurse our babies, it contracts our uterus and helps our body heal. Like, as I nurse my baby, my body picks up antibodies that my baby could need if they were sick. Like, I'm getting signals from them like, hey, I have a cold, produce this antibody, give it to me. And I'm able to do that. And that is
mind-blowing.
Absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's opened my eyes so much to just like, wow, like your body is just doing all these little things. It's just,
you just never even knew could be possible. Just how integrated our bodies are, like in labor, women, relaxing your lips, because your lips are connected to your vagina. Opening up your lips physically helps open and relax your birth canal. That is incredible.
I think I missed that part of the whole birth class.
Yeah, that's why they want you to like blow raspberries. Yeah.
That's why you're making those noises.
Because it helps open you up and relax you. Like, that is incredible. And I will say that me saying that I've now this newfound love and respect for my body doesn't mean I love my body every day. My belly button will never be the same. It will never be the same. I could lose 15 pounds, get rock solid abs, and my belly button is still going to look funky.
Mm-hmm.
And there are definitely those moments I look in the mirror and I see the stretch marks. I see these little hairs. My hair has gotten so thin during postpartum, and like literally every hair I have is like pulled in front right now, I have hairs just sticking up everywhere all the time. I see these little things that like these babies have changed every aspect of me. And so I have the cycles of like, I hate what my body looks like. I'm not proud of my body. And then I go back to, oh man, I just did this thing. So it's not ever going to be like fully one way or the other. I think every woman has those bad days. It's just circling back around to that realization of what your body can do. And also it gets worse right after you have the baby. Like there are all these people and these bloggers online that like post their postpartum belly and their mesh panties. And I think that is so brave. And they're just like so proud of it. And it's okay if you're looking in your mirror and you're crying over it, that they are also crying over theirs some moments too, that is all a cycle. So yeah, our bodies though, like God designed them in a way that's just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing that I realize is like, I can do really hard things. I can do things that I never thought possible. And that gives me the inspiration now when I'm trying to do something. Like if I'm trying to move something, I'm like, I've had natural births before. I can do this. Like I now have a determination of like not giving up on something just because it's hard in that moment.
Yeah.
Where used to, I would have been very quick to just be like, oh, that's hard. I'm not going to worry about it today,
right.
But now I'm like, I have nursed a baby with my nipples bleeding, cracked, weeping, crying.
That's a thing.
That is a thing. And get their tongue tie checked if you're struggling with that.
Yeah, for real.
And I pushed through that and I didn't give up. So this one thing today, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do hard things because I've done it before. I've proven that to myself, especially on the level of exhaustion that I've never experienced in my life. having a baby did rock my world in the fact of a realization is that I'm not able to do as much as I used to be able to do. Again, we were traveling all over the world. And for me, that stopped for a time. I still am not traveling the world, but by the time our first hit 3 months, Wes had been in those 3 months to Paris, Amsterdam, Liberia, Canada. He had been continuing to travel, and those were all for paid jobs. It was work. That was really difficult for me that I had to restructure who I was, what my identity was in the world, and move forward in that. But I'm also still able to do way more than I thought that I would have been able to as a mom. Before becoming a mom, I'd heard other women say like, oh, to do the, like I would never drive my kids across country. That would just be so hard. Or, oh, I can't do this. Or I had to quit work or whatever. And I thought that I was going to have to live in this one box as a mom. And I realized that I can do hard things. I can pack my kids up in a van and drive to Portland, Oregon if I want to. Mm-hmm. And so I am able to do way more than I'd originally thought that I would be able to. And I'm able to show my kids like, hey, I work, this is me following my dreams and my passions, and I don't have to give up me.
Right.
So I didn't have to stop being Tira because I became mama. And that's a big realization that I had. And yes, I need support. Yes, I need childcare. Yes, I need a husband that's there doing things, helping me out. But I put those things in place and I can do it.
Yeah.
Number 5, my realization, I am very impatient.
What do you mean?
I see flaws in myself that I didn't know existed before I was a mom. And I can remember hearing other women say, gosh, I go to bed at night and I think, I was a bad mom today. I failed today. And Olive was like 6 months old. And I can remember thinking, those women said that, but I'm a great mom. Like, I don't have those thoughts. I'm a great mom. Yeah, to a 6-month-old baby. By the time she hit 2, I literally am like going to bed weeping. Yeah. Just like, how have I failed her? I'm so awful. And so the realization that I have work to do. I have things inside of me that I want to be better at and that I want to change for myself, for my kids, for my marriage, for the world. And that those tiny humans really have the ability to bring out the very best and the very worst of me.
Yeah, that's something I think you had said, that you're literally seeing all of your flaws.
Yeah.
As a parent, like every little thing. And so it slaps you in the face.
Yes, it really does. And it shows you just the depth of spending so much time. Like they say it's the hardest job in the world, motherhood. It's the most difficult job in the world. And it is my job to make sure that she and he are ready to go out into the world. Moms get a lot of flack of like, why do you want to have kids? We have lots of friends who are chosen to not be moms, and I love that. I respect that so much. And they think I'm absolutely nuts because I've chosen to have 4. It's like, I'm raising the next generation. I'm raising the generation that's going to come in when we're older, that's going to be the workforce, and I don't take that lightly. I take a lot of pride in that I get to be a part of setting the standard of what's to come.
Yeah.
And so realizing that I have this duty and this honor to be that example is huge.
Yeah.
And so my impatience is, whew, Lord, I've gotten better, but it was things were dark there for a bit. And so I really realized that about myself.
Yeah.
And lastly, number 6 is I thought that I really got it before. I thought that I knew love. Like, you are my number 1. I love you with every bone in my body. And I think you would agree with this as well. having that human, the amount of love, one, that we feel for them, but that they've brought into our lives for each other has only increased.
Oh, yeah.
There are things that I can remember other parents like showing me pictures. Isn't that so cute? I'm like, I mean, I guess it's cute. You know, like, what are they doing in the picture? There's really nothing going on. And then one day Wes had just come back from a trip. Olive was like 3 months old, at a restaurant, and all she did was put her arm up on the table. Literally, she rested her elbow on the table, and I started crying because I thought it was the cutest thing that I had ever seen. My heart bursts open 1,000 times a day. Yeah. It feels like it is physically coming out of my chest because I'm experiencing love on a level that I didn't know existed. Yep. Even with reaching dreams, you know, like I have accomplished so much in my life, and nothing compares to listening to them say that they love us, or Spider-Man, or whatever it is that they say. Their little words are so, I promise you. One of our kids right now says, I promise you. And it's so cute. And so just realizing what love exists in the world. And on top of that, I feel more love than I ever have. There was a day that I was changing a diaper, and that baby was just laughing, and I was, you know, I'm like, that was like the joke time. And all of a sudden,
you were so funny in that moment.
I was so funny. I pictured my mom doing that same exact thing with me, you know, and it just, wow. When I was a baby, there was someone who looked at me the way I am looking at these humans. Yeah. That is incredible. I have never felt love more than I did in that moment. Yeah. Because I was loving my child while realizing the love that my own parents had for me in that moment. And that was just completely mind-blowing to me. So those were 6 things that have just rocked my world, and that I'd never had experienced before, never understood before I gained this new title as mom. Yeah. So I'm sure many of you relate to that. If you haven't yet and you're planning to become a mom, you will get there. You don't get it yet. I thought that I got it. I was like, oh, I know what this is going to feel like. Didn't even scratch the surface. So to you mamas out there, happy Mother's Day. Seriously, you are doing work in the world that matters, and you are tired. You are exhausted. Your body has gotten funky, and you're peeing on yourself. You can't even jump on a trampoline anymore. You got homies talking back to you, and you are continuing to show up for them, and that is a beautiful thing. You are so much stronger than you ever realized was possible. So happy Mother's Day to you ladies. To my own mom, I know that you're listening. Thank you for standing over. I'm going to cry. I'm so sorry. I knew I would cry talking about moms. I love you. Happy Mother's Day. And share that what?
Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you. I've got to keep going so I don't cry.
For real. You made me a father, and like it's one of the best, most joyful things that's ever happened in my life. I thank you for giving that to me. And I think that could be possible with you birth a child or not. You know what I mean? But thank you for doing that. Thank you for sacrificing. Yeah, and thanks for showing me what a mom can be and challenging me as a dad every day to be like you. For real.
You're welcome. I love you. That actually, you saying that, whether you had a baby or not, I want to say that yes, this applies to any kind of mom situation. Adoptive moms, birth moms, people who have however your baby comes. You know, there are women in the world that are moms, foster moms, and women that just take kids in as their own. You know, so yes, happy Mother's Day to all of you ladies for sure. Share this episode with your BFF mom friend, the one that you met on the playground, because that's how we meet people nowadays.
You're too intimidated to walk up to, and it was really awkward in the moment. But now you're best friends.
Dating all over again. Yeah. And please leave us a review on your podcasting app. That helps us so much.
On Apple Podcasts.
On Apple. Yeah, well, that's just podcasting on their iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
So should I share a review?
Sure. And while we're doing that, remember that Tira's doing photo sessions right now for Mother's Day. She did these and they're really awesome. And you can go to tirawages.com/book to reserve a session. It doesn't have to be this week or next week. It can be in the future. So that's a good thing. And you actually get $50 credit for prints. So,
dude, we've gone up 3 ratings since yesterday.
Wow.
That's so exciting. And so I will just read the very first one that comes up from 2 Marked Boys. Very transparent and relatable, genuine. These are words that I can use to describe this podcaster. I enjoy following and now listening to what's going on in their world. Thanks for creating. Thank you so much for that review. It honestly means so much to me.
As words of affirmation.
I am a words of affirmation person, yes.
I'm just waiting for somebody to leave a review just for my little yeah, good job. Yeah. I know it's helpful. So.
It is so helpful. Thank you so much for being here. I know that life is a little crazy and sometimes you feel a little crazy, especially when you're crying over a little bunny tail on the back of your little baby's booty. But you are not alone. I get it.
Be happy and love each other.
Oh, be happy and love each other. Peace.